And now for the last look. Senator Mitch McConnell has been absent 8 weeks and counting from Senate proceedings. His office says he's recovering from a fall, but public speculation rages on about his declining health. McConnell, at 84, isn't the first member of the upper house to serve into old age. Dianne Feinstein served until her death in 2023 at 90, even as she grew increasingly frail. The median age is now 66 in the Senate and 58 in the House, while the median age for Americans is still under 40. Our president is 80. The average age of a sitting federal judge was nearly 68 in 2024. There is even one serving at 102. Aging politicians may just be the most visible feature of government for and by the elderly. That is what the scholar Samuel Moyn argues in his new book, Gerontocracy in America, How the Old Are Hoarding Power and Wealth and What to Do About It. America is in a golden age for being of golden age. The average net worth of 65 to 70-year-olds was $1.8 million in 2022, up 178% from 1989. People 70 and older had 19% of the country's total household wealth in 1989. Now they have 32%. That's while the share of wealth for those under 40 has almost halved from 12% to 6.6%. It wasn't always this way. After the Great Depression, poverty was widespread, particularly for the elderly. That's what prompted Franklin Delano Roosevelt to sign into law the 1935 Social Security Act, which for the first time established regular payments for the elderly financed by payroll taxes. The goal, FDR said, was to give some measure of protection against poverty-ridden old age. That effort turned out to be a tremendous success. The elder poverty rate dropped from 35% in 1959 to less than 10% in 1999. Until the 1970s, the poverty rate among those 65 and older used to trend higher than other age groups. Now it is consistently lower. But America has overlearned its lesson. Federal spending is weighted overwhelmingly towards seniors today. For every $6 the U.S. government spends on those 65 and over, it spends just $1 on children and young adults. The United States, the richest country in the world, spends among the least in the OECD on family benefits. And child poverty is consistently higher than elderly poverty. In 2024, it was 14.3%. Elder poverty was just under 10%. As the Wall Street Journal notes, it's almost as though the U.S. is stuck on a loop, continuing to lavish the elderly with benefits, even though the pain in the economy has moved elsewhere. The problem is not just with federal benefits. States also shower the elderly with tax breaks on housing, on income, including Social Security, and on pensions. And many of these benefits accrue to the wealthy. The NYU professor and podcaster Scott Galloway says America is waging a war on the young. Minimum wage, which he used as a proxy for how we value youth labor, has not kept pace with inflation. Housing and stock prices have soared, making it even harder for young people to buy homes or enter the stock market, the main engine of wealth creation in America. This is a story we already know about rising inequality in America. The solutions are partly redistributive. Galloway suggests taxing capital gains as income and streamlining permits so more housing could be built, which would drive down housing prices. He also believes we should reform Social Security. It's easy to say there's no political will to do any of this, but there may be a solution to that problem too. Moyn notes in his book that part of the reason we're stuck with aging politicians who serve an aging electorate at the expense of the young is that older people are the ones who vote. And children under 18, of course, have no vote. The median age of the general election voter is 52. Outside the presidential election, it is 55. But in primaries, which determine 90% of the seats in the current House, the median voter is 65 years old. Instead of pressuring politicians to act in defiance of their voters, we could adopt policies to encourage the young who can to vote, like mandatory voting or a national holiday on voting day. both of which are law in many countries. In a democracy, after all, the surest way to change policies is to throw the old bums out.